Hey everybody, Kevin Eikenberry. I'm here and excited to be with you this morning. And here's what I'm learning about this platform of Blab is since last week when I was with you, it's changed. They've changed stuff again. And so, man, it looks a little bit different. But listen, I'm glad to have you with me today. And if you're new to this platform called Blab, you may just be here because you found out about this and you just come on the web and you don't really know where we're at. We're at this place called Blab. And I hope that what I'm going to say is more effective than just blabbing. But here's the way this works. You can leave notes. You can send a message. And I imagine that Marissa will send a message and tell you how you can do that. If you want to ask a question, she'll probably do that. You'll see it off on the side. And the other thing you can do is if you like something I'm saying, if you just tap on your screen, then these little hands will show up. And it's like feedback to Kevin. See, there's a note there if you want to type a question, how you do that. So if you want to give me feedback and make me happy, make me smile, might even get me to stop talking. You never know. Hey, I'm here today to talk to you about, as promised, 4 questions that will change your results. This relates to the blog post that posted on my blog this morning. Before I get to that, though, I thought I'd share something with you that we do on our team every week that I thought you might find useful. And then I'm going to share with you something that I learned. So what I ask my team to do each week before our team call, when we have our team meeting, it's a call because not everyone's in the same spot. One of the things that I have everybody do is share something that they learned during the week. And I think it's a very powerful way for us to share and to encourage ourselves to be growing and to set the expectation that that's what we do around here is to learn. So what I thought I'd do this morning is I'd share something that I learned this weekend, and it's not something I shared with my team because it happened over the weekend. And it really relates to what happened on Saturday for me. So here's my Saturday. My Saturday is getting ready for having some friends and family to come over in the evening from out of town, which was going to be great. My son was going to be in town. He's from out of town. So my sister and her husband and some former neighbors that were coming back. And so it was a day that I was looking forward with some anticipation, and it was a beautiful day. It was cool outside, but the day was filled with football, both throwing one around outside and watching some inside, seeing the exciting end of the Michigan State game. Exciting if you're a Michigan State fan, not so exciting if you're a U of M fan. But it involved me cooking, smoking both some brisket and some pork. So I love that process, and sharing that with others later was great. Here's the lesson out of all of that. Is that the reason the day was successful, the reason that it was valuable was about the fact that there were memories that were made. From the time people started arriving or middle of the afternoon all the way through the late in the evening, there were memories created. And I think that one of the things that we need to be aware of as human beings is that we ought to be in the business of collecting memories and making memories that are worth holding on to. And I think as leaders, it's worth us thinking about that too, about how we create an environment where people will want to be there, that will feel connected to the place and to the team and all those things. So hopefully those things are worthwhile. And with that, let me dive in. And now I will tell you that I'm going to talk about 4 questions that will improve your results, but I'm also going to answer your questions. So if you've got one, you got to ask it because I can't read your mind, certainly not at a distance. And so let me just share with you the 4 questions first, and I'll talk about them. I'm going to talk about some of the things I talked about in the post, but I'm going to say some other stuff too. So here are the 4 questions. Why? Why not? Why not me? And why not now? Now, to me, these questions are valuable, and I wrote the piece mostly from the perspective of us as a leader asking these questions. I really think there's 4 ways we can think about these questions. First, we can think about these questions about asking ourselves these questions, right? Why? Why not? Why me? Why now? I can ask me those questions about a personal thing as a way to help me in a lot of ways. I can ask myself as a way to role model that behavior for my team. I can literally ask those questions of my team, or you can ask those questions of your team as a leader, and then you can certainly teach your team to ask those questions of themselves for it to become a part of your culture, whether they become a flowing way of asking them 1, 2, 3, 4, or whether you just create a team where they think in this way. It's worth your consideration. So Let's dive into each of them. Well, before we talk about them, I think that these questions can help us in lots of ways. They can help us to create a change or initiate a change or overcome resistance. They can help us to communicate a message. If we understand the answers to these questions, it can help us communicate what we want to communicate more clearly. It can be a way to issue a challenge to a team or offer a team a big opportunity. It can be a way to create accountability, certainly. And at the end of the day, these 4 questions, when they lead us to take action, are the way in which the world changes. So I'd encourage you to think about all of those reasons, but let's talk about the 4 questions. So the first one is the why question. The why question, perhaps the most powerful question of all. It's the question that helps us find meaning and purpose in things. It's the question of curiosity. It's the question to help us understand things. It's the question that kids ask. All of that is great, right? So we just say this, that the why question needs to be asked not in an accusatory way, needs to not be asked in a issuing a challenge sort of way, as much as, why does this matter? Why should we care? Why is it so important? If we ask the question from that perspective to help us to understand a problem, to help us deepen and broaden our perspective, it's an extremely powerful question. It's the question that can help us move forward. Why would we want to do that? Not in an accusatory way, but so in a very curious, open way. Why? First question. Second question is, why not? So you can think about these 2 questions together as partners in a couple ways. One is this is sort of the pro and con thing, right? The positives and the negatives, the benefits and the consequences. That's not really the way I'm asking them, although you certainly can ask them that way. Why should we? Why shouldn't we? Why? But I'm saying, why not? Why not from the perspective of, it's the question to ask after the but. So you have an idea in your own head and you're thinking it through, and then the little doubter on your shoulder says, but, your response might be, well, why not? Well, why wouldn't we try? Why couldn't we try? And so I think the why not question is a way to expose resistance in ourselves or in others. And again, this isn't meant to be done in a way that is to put someone down or to push back, but rather to further expose or further enlighten, it's a better word, to further enlighten the situation. So we do understand both sides, but we begin to let go of the worry, because we're saying, well, why not? Why not try it? Okay. So the third question is, why not me? If I'm asking that of the group, I say, why not us? Why not us? Why couldn't it be us? Right? So this is really the question of accountability, right? It's the question that says, if I'm willing to ask myself this question, well, if someone doesn't, who's gonna? And why not? Why can't it be us? Why shouldn't it be us? If someone's been able to do it, why couldn't it be us? Why couldn't it be me? It's a hugely valuable question. Why not me? And if you're a country music fan, you might remember the old Judson song titled that, and that might be going through your head now, and I apologize for that. But really, in all seriousness, this question of why not me? Looking in the mirror and say, this is a good idea. Why not me? I'm going to ask the fourth question, then I'm going to give you a quick example. So the fourth question is, why not now? And this is the question of urgency, right? Now, not everything in the world should we immediately take action on, I realize. And I know that there have been times when I said, hey, that's a great idea, let's go do it, and let's go do it right now. And that can look like we're chasing the next shiny object or squirrel or something like that. But I do think that we have to realize that time continues to tick. And at some point, if we want to make something happen, we've got to start sometime. And so if we've answered the first three questions, well, the why, there's a good reason to do it, and there's no good reason not to do it, and no one's any better suited to do it than we are, then why don't we get started? And so it really is that fourth question that really is the question of action. The initial question, the why question, helps to set the reason why it's valuable, and the why not takes away some of the resistance. The excitement is now there. We've just determined that there's no reason we can't do it, so what are we waiting for? Why don't we get started? We might as well try. Now, that doesn't mean, again, that there aren't things we need to consider and think about, but all of this, and I wrote in the article, one of the things this reminds me of is the saying, it's been attributed to lots of people, like, when's the best time to plant a tree? Well, either a long time ago or right now. So like if you haven't already done it, why would you wait any longer? Why not get started? So I thought I'd give you a quick example as it relates directly to Blab. So I don't know, it's early in August, and Marissa on our team, who's right now on here as the KE group, Marissa on our team, put your hands up for Marissa. Just hit your screen, tap your screen, and we'll see if we get some of those. See, there they go. Anyway, see, now you know how to do it. And see, I can see, Marissa, they'd rather do it for you than for me. I get that. But so back in early August, Marissa and I started talking about Periscope. And I knew that Periscope existed and that Twitter owned it, and there was some people using it on their cell phones and stuff to do live video. And I didn't think there were any really good reasons for us to do it. But she and I one afternoon started really asking these 4 questions in retrospect. We said, well, why would you do it? Well, why wouldn't you at least try it? Is there any reason why we shouldn't do it? And when should we start? Well, from the time we had that first conversation until I did my first Periscope at the Indiana State Fair, it was just a few hours. Well, after that, we asked the question a few more times, and we figured out, well, let's try it in a couple of other different settings, which we did and have done. And then we sort of learned some more and said, well, maybe it's not Periscope, maybe it's Blab. So we were on this thing called Blab. At the end of the day, for us, it's not about the platform that we're on as much as a way for us to be live and to maybe share with some people. This particular tool gives us a way to record it easier. We'll post it to the blog later this week and all of those things. Point is, it's a simple example where we asked the first 2 questions, and it led us to say, well, is there any reason why we couldn't? Well, of course we could. Then why don't we try it? And so I think the other way we can think about these questions is as a way to think about new ideas, to test new ideas, to innovate, to try. And I think all 4 of the questions are critical. Now, when I started this, I said these 4 questions can change your results or change your life. And that's only sort of true. I mean, inherently, the questions won't do anything for you. The first thing you got to do is you got to ask them. Asking the questions improves the chances. But at the end of the day, it's not even the asking of the questions that matter. It's the answering of the questions and the action that you take as a result. So a little bit of creative license, I suppose, by saying that these 4 questions will change your results. It sort of reminds me when people say that book changed my life. And I say, no, it didn't. And they look at me funny. I said, no, the book didn't. You changed your life. The book was an impetus. The book was a spark. The book gave you an idea. All those things are true. And it doesn't mean the book's any less important. It certainly doesn't mean these questions are any less important. It simply means that at the end of the day, it's the action that you take as a result. In this case, it's the asking of the questions, answering of the questions, and the action. So I want to thank you all for joining me today for a few minutes of our TV Live, a Remarkable TV Live. We're glad that you did. And if you're not listening live, thank you. If you're not listening live and you're listening to the recording, you know that I'm probably going to do this again. Can't promise. In fact, next Monday it won't happen. Not at this time. I'll be in Orlando training a group. But we're going to continue to find ways to do this live segment. Try it out. We may do it from different settings. I may do it from a hotel room. Who knows? But I'm glad that you were here, whether you were live or whether you're on the recording. I encourage you to think about those 4 questions. Why? Why not? Why not me? Why not now? I encourage you to think about them. I encourage you to ask those questions. If you ask those questions of yourself this weekend, take some action. I'd love for you to send me an email, send us a tweet, put a comment on the blog. Tell us about your results. Appreciate it so much. Hope you all have a remarkable, remarkable week. Talk to you all soon.